Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Mental Health Podcast. Today we're joined by none other than Michael Crisp from Ian Coaching. Hello mate, how we doing?
Nice to be here, mate. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah,
Good to be here.
have you on. Finally.
Nice to be here. I've been watching for a long time. I love it. So thanks for inviting me on. It's what you're doing is good work. So keep doing.
Thank you, appreciate that. So let's tell us a little bit about, obviously, not where we are now in your life, but sort of a bit of your backstory, a bit about yourself, and sort of, bit of your ups and downs, really. Sort of.
Yeah, I think most people that know me or have seen my page will see the transformation I've gone through, similar to yourself, but definitely not as impressive as yours, Matt, I'll be honest. As much as I thought it was good. And then
he definitely trumped
done my one. I was like, this is definitely up there. And then I saw Matt's, I was like, mine's not that good. But no.
It's amazing, mate.
But no, a fairly similar background to you, really, Matt, if I'm honest. Just not to the extreme, but at the same time, was still quite heavily overweight. And it was kind of just during lockdown where I was like, no, that's it. I've had enough now. And yeah, just turned around to me missus one day and went, right, that's it.
I'm done.
I'm done being fat. I'm done drinking. It's time to sort some stuff out. I'm not getting any younger. And, if I want to have a quality of life later on, I need to get my act together now. And that's what I did. So we dropped, I think it was 35 kilos in like 6 months.
Yeah.
Me being me, I don't do anything half measure. So I went, I'll go from being really fat to doing a bodybuilding show because,
why not?
Why not? That's the basis.
Nothing else to do, is there?
Yeah, that's the basis. One extreme to the other. I'm all in or not. So, and then done my first show and just absolutely never looked back. It was just the best thing I've ever done. So, but obviously during that period of time in the transformation, you realise just how unhappy you were.
Yeah, of course.
And how I used different things to cover on how unhappy I was at points. So comfort eating, drinking, the classic things that most people that are suffering do to try and make themselves feel better. That instant gratification, which over a long period of time is not going to do you any good or any justice. So it was about learning myself through the transformation. Everyone sees the physical side, which was, I'm very proud of that side as well. But more for me mentally was like, actually, I'm quite strong-willed. Actually, I don't need these quick wins and coping fixes. I've got that discipline and that consistency, which I never thought I really had, to be honest. And I think that's one of the reasons why I always kind of pressed that self-destruct button, because it was just like, I can't do it, so what's the point of trying? Whereas now I'm like, I don't know how to do it yet, but I will do it. I'll just work it out as I get along.
You feel it's kind of doing that transformation, going to the gym and training, you kind of found your calling.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things. I've always been a big fan of the gym. I've always been going to the gym. I've always played rugby when I was growing up as well, played football. I've always been a very sporty person. But I think as I got to my late 20s, I kind of just gave up on trying to eat clean and healthy. And I met my missus, and you kind of just, you're comfortable. Yeah, you just
feel like you don't have to impress anyone.
Exactly. It's like, well, I'm out of the pool, so to speak, so it's fine.
She's stuck with me now.
Yeah, exactly. She can't leave. But so you not for all of Gemma's, it was just my own thing. You're just comfortable, right? Which is a nice thing in a way, obviously, that you're comfortable in that relationship.
So when you say like comfort eating and drinking stuff, so are you talking like takeaways, or are you just talking about just ate what you wanted and just
both, to be honest. Yeah,
was it daily, or every day you drink, or
so yeah, my drinking was always pretty good, like in terms of I have a bit of a golden rule: no drinking Monday to Thursday, like the work week, and then Friday, Saturday, all bets were off. And that kind of fitted into my rugby social side of things. This isn't to demonise rugby. Rugby is an amazing sport, teaches you great characters.
But it's also got a good social
It's also got a very good social element to it as well, which again, there's lots of positives you can take from that if you are balanced. And I wasn't balanced.
It's that if you haven't got the control
that's it. Literally it. It's like I couldn't just go out for one or two with the boys. I'm out all night. I'm not getting until the early hours. It's stupid. And then it just carries on. You finish work on a Friday, go drinking. I've got quite a high pressure job with clients, so you go drinking with clients. Then you get in, got rugby on Saturday morning, you play a game, you're drinking again. You wake up Sunday afternoon, you're hungover, you feel like crap, so you order a massive pizza, fast food, something convenient, because you can't be asked to cook, and two, you don't want something like chicken and rice at that point, or something nutritious. You just want
something greasy and
crap, yeah. And then you just get into that. And then Monday, gym Monday to Thursday. eat relatively clean, but then you're just damaging yourself so much at the weekend. You don't realise.
You're negating everything, aren't you?
And even worse so, you in your head, you're like, well, I only drank for 2 days, but you don't realise that you had 10 beers and you had 10 Guinnesses, and that's like, 1,000, 2,000 calories there, off the record.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, if people
That's before the kebab, but afterwards.
Yeah, the thing is, if people could understand how much drinking affects your health and how much drinking affects your weight loss calorie like that, it's mad. Because I remember when I stopped, because I was drinking every day, like a bottle of rum a day. When I just cut the drink out, my weight was coming off me before I was even stepping foot in that gym. I knew literally the weight just started coming off of me.
It's such a quick win, and as a coach, I'm very careful in terms of demonising certain things, because a lot of people are not at one end or the other end of the scale. They're in the middle. They can be quite balanced. They have some sense of control, but I never understand why people drink alcohol. I'm not saying I don't. I do it very, very rarely, on a rare occasion. But for me, it does nothing for what I need to do in life in terms of my goals or aspirations.
It actually hinders you, doesn't it?
Well, and this is like, obviously being a mental health podcast as well. Like, you're drinking a depressant. Like, you are physically choosing to put something into your body which is going to change how you see things in life.
It's a bit like I said earlier, like when Tom Holland said, if alcohol didn't exist, and we're on Dragon's Den and they put it to you that they're going to give you this liquid that effectively poisons your body, makes you do stupid things, depresses you, and then makes you feel shit the next morning, you'd go, no,
I'm all right, thanks.
Keep your funky juice.
Yeah, thank you. You keep that. Yeah.
But I think because it's had a very good been advertised very well, and in very different things. Like,
I think anyone that's like suffered with mental health and have used things like food and alcohol as part of their coping strategy to deal with how they're feeling about themselves, understand what we're saying. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that might watch this that have absolutely no problem with drinking alcohol, and they're like, "Oh, you're just bashing something because you can, right?" Yeah. But it's not about that. Like, I have a lot of clients that I work with, and they ask me, "Can I drink alcohol?" And I'm like, "Well, how serious are you about your goals?" Now, if you having a drink is more important than you achieving your goal in a certain time frame, then fair enough. Then we work around what you want to do.
So you're not one of those coaches that goes, "You drink alcohol, I don't want to work with you."
No, I think, as I say, like,
depends on how much you drink.
Yeah, if I'm working with athletes and we're in a prep for a show, like, sorry, but no, it's not up for discussion. Yeah. But at the same time, I have a lot of lifestyle clients, and I think part of being a good coach is being able to adapt to their lifestyle needs. Now, if a client's going out every weekend and getting trolleyed, then I'll have a serious conversation and be like, do you actually want this? This isn't helping you achieve.
Because effectively, it affects your reputation as a coach. Absolutely. If you're going, I'm coaching them, and they're not actually losing weight.
100%. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not saying you can't have that, but we need to moderate, and we need to make allowances for said.
Well, said anything in moderation.
I've had conversations before though, when someone said to me, "Oh, like, what did you do?" And I said, "Well, cut out the alcohol. I didn't drink for 800 days or something straight." And they said to me, "Well, I don't think I could do that. I couldn't." I said, "I'm not saying you got to do that, but you need to not drink every day of the week, and there may be the one odd glass of wine or something at the weekend or whatever you want. So it will be fine. But you can't.
You had it. It was going to kill you.
Yeah,
like for you, like you had to give it up. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And we wouldn't be having this conversation now.
Yeah,
And I think if you have that, if someone goes to you, right, you can carry on drinking, cool. But if you do, you're going to die. So then that's a choice on you. And if you choose to carry on, then
it's like smokers. Everyone knows what smoking does to you, but people still smoke. Again, I don't want to make people feel bad about decisions they make in their life, but own your decisions. As long as you own it and go, well, yeah, I know it's going to kill me, but
enjoy it.
And you just go, fair enough. You're free to make a choice, but
it's quite funny. Like my grandma always used to say, like, she goes, well, something's going to kill me, so I'm just going to smoke. And to an extent, I can understand her rationale behind it. Yeah, something is going to kill you, but at least give yourself a good chance in life by not smoking and not drinking to excess. And
it's not about trying to make people like become monks in a monastery. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. I don't ever want to promote like you can't ever have fun or do anything that Again, it's about moderation. But when you reach a certain point, like you did or I did during lockdown, I was drinking like 5-6 cans of large Stellas a day. And I was like, oh my God, I'm drinking on a Monday night, waking up with a hangover because I was still working through lockdown, working from home. And I was waking up every morning with a hangover. And I was like, what am I doing? And the weight was just piling on. So the quickest and easiest thing for me to do was stop drinking. The first thing, like, and as you say, like, I know I'm going to lose weight from not doing this. First thing I did. And then once you start getting on a roll with not drinking, you're like, oh, I feel a lot better about myself. Oh, my head's a bit clearer. I'm making more sensible decisions.
And I don't think
it's momentum.
I don't think people realise how addictions start as well. Like, you were an addict. You were to an extent, you're an alcoholic. Like, if you're drinking every night and not even thinking about it, it just becomes a reflex. You're going, right, finish work, right, crack a beer open. Like, you probably only started, like you said, you weren't drinking during the week, then rugby at the weekend, having a few bevies, and then it progressed. It's a bit like my journey with drugs. Like, I started Saturday night, having that Saturday night into Sunday morning, then it dragged to Sunday afternoon, then it dragged to the Monday, then it, and you do continue and
spirals quickly, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, you get a lot of people go, how can you get addicted? And unfortunately, like, we've all got kind of addictive personalities. Luckily, we've turned it around and we're addicted to
the gym,
going to the gym.
Yeah.
But some people don't have that. Like, you can't say, well, don't put that in your system, because unfortunately, especially with British as well, it's a culture thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll all go to the pub, we'll have a drink. You don't know until you have that drink whether you're an addict. It's a bit like, yeah, okay, I shouldn't have taken cocaine, I shouldn't have taken an illegal substance. But I've seen many people that can go out on a Saturday night and spend hundreds of pounds on it, throw it all up their nose, and be absolute, and they could probably not touch it again for another month, and it wouldn't even register with them. But I'd only have to sniff, like, wouldn't even have to sniff the line, smell it.
Yeah. See the packet,
and I'd want it.
Yeah.
And I think you don't see the steps. I think until you were quite lucky, yours didn't get to a stage where you were then drinking all day, every day.
No.
But it could have been like that.
The thing is, you're always chasing, aren't you? You're always chasing that high. You've had that high, you want it again. You're coming down off it, you want to get back up there. It's like gambling.
You're always chasing your first high.
Yeah,
I only bet on the Grand National once a year, and I put like a $5 on it. Something that's like a family tradition. The whole reason I don't gamble is because I know I have an addictive personality,
And you know it all.
and I know I'll chase the win.
exactly.
So for me, like, just again, this is how I've kind of grown into being an adult and my life experiences. It's like, I know what I can be, good or bad. So what's the starting point for that? It's that's what my
those trigger points.
it's like literally at the trigger point. Well, that's it. So just don't do that then.
And it sounds so black and white.
It does,
But it is black and white. It's that simple.
it's a decision. And one thing about me when I stopped drinking, again with the weight loss, and I don't want to demonise it as I say, but the clarity of thoughts that I had from, the reason I was drinking was I was locked in. I was always considered myself to be a very extroverted individual, life of the soul, happy-go-lucky Mike. It's always good for a good time, jolly up. And then when lockdown happened...
It's good having that mask, isn't it?
It's people think you're the best person in the world or the funniest person. And then you realise, actually, and it was quite funny, when I went through
that was an alcohol mask, wasn't it?
Well, it was one, an alcohol mask, two, a jolly, like, Big Mike. Now, in my head now, if someone says Big Mike, I think muscly. I've got a bit of an ego, it's fine. But back then it was Jolly Mike, and we all know jolly means fat, right? So
either jolly or bubbly.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was Jolly Mike comes out, it's good for a good laugh. But then I thought I had loads of friends, but it wasn't. It was when they needed a good time or a night out, they knew I was always going to be the one that went, yeah, I'll be there for it, don't worry. And then when I pulled back from that curtain, I'm like, actually, guys, I'm actually trying to do something to better myself here. The amount of friends that dropped off, friends that then dropped off, and all of a sudden, oh, Mike's no fun anymore. Oh, he's over there now, let him do. And it was a hard lesson to learn, but it was also one of the best things I ever learned, because I actually realised, these core people that I have in my life don't actually care if I'm an arsehole or if I'm a really nice version of myself, they'll still be there. So then that's when I was like, well, I want to be the nicest possible version for these people. And then that changed my whole perspective on life. So now when people are like, do you want to come out? I'm no. Okay. And people used to be like, oh, well, and I'm like, I've told you no. So it's about setting boundaries. I've said no, so it's no.
Well, that's the thing. Like when I was going through my addiction, like I used cocaine as a crutch
to pick me up.
Yeah, and the thing is, when I did it, like there was this little unspoken rule: whoever hosts the party doesn't pay for the gear. It's a kind of, you're taking the risk of having so much gear, and there was a lot. Like, I'm not sitting here making out that it's a cool thing, but it was like, there was just, on the kitchen side, there was a pile of it, and you just went over whenever you like and just cut a bit off and did. But the person who hosted didn't pay for it. So obviously I was always the host. I was clever. I was the host.
You were a smart addict.
Yeah, I was a smart addict. But like my old man used to say, he goes, if you need a substance or like alcohol, drugs to have a good time, are you genuinely having a good time? And that was in my recovery. And I kind of sat back and went, yeah, I hate that you're right. Like, we always hate when our old man goes, yeah, I hate when you're right. Like, but it was true. And like when I first, like, me and Matt like first became friends, like, I go, oh, do you want a beer? I don't really drink. And then in my head I was like, I know why, but I didn't want to say, well, come on, have a beer, it'll be fun. Like, we have a laugh, and we don't have to have a beer.
I don't think we've ever had a drink, have we?
No, we've never had a beer.
That's what I was saying.
Because he's boring.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, alcohol is one of the things. It's the only drug where if you don't take it,
you're demonised for not
taking.
taking.
You like you're some sort of idiot.
Yeah.
Or they say, oh, go on, have one. I don't want one. I don't want to drink. Take me as I am.
Why does me not drinking influence how you have your night?
You're demonised. If you go to a pub and they'll go, what do you want to drink? I'll have Diet Coke. What? What, do you want some vodka in it or whiskey?
Or you're on antibiotics?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're recovering.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
no, I just don't want a beer.
Just don't want to drink.
Like,
I'm actually driving, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's certain situations like stag do's and stuff like that. Like, I get invited to, I'm like, I don't really want to go. Because, yeah, okay, it'd be a laugh, but then I'll feel crap. And the money I'm going to spend, like, because now, like, I'm a reformed addict, I'm like, that money I could save. And, like, I don't know, Rosie wants to go on that sleeper train from London to Scotland. And that's like pushing £1,000 for me, Sophie and Rosie to do it. And I'm like, well, stag do's going to cost me like 500 quid. Like, I'm halfway to taking my little girl to do something she wants to do. And
Priorities.
Yeah. But mainly, I don't have to take Monday and Tuesday off work so I can recover from a weekend of drinking.
See, I'm getting married in 25, so again, this is like why I say I don't want to demonise alcohol, because I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Like, there are going to be points in my life where I do have a drink again. I'm British, born and bred, and one of the points of that is when you're a stag do, you get absolutely rinsed by your mates. And I'm all for it, because I've done it to my mates on their stags, and I'm like, fine,
turn now.
This is my turn to have the penance back, which is not a problem. But the difference I am now as a person through the transformation that I've done is that is a very isolated period of time which I will allow alcohol into my diet. After that, I won't drink again for a long period of time.
Till the wedding.
Till the wedding. And then I'll need a drink to calm the nerves.
Yeah, you have times like that where that's like, a year as a stag do, whatever. I can understand having a drink on that sort of thing and whatnot. But when you're going on like a work event, it's like a one-night work event where they go to, like, I don't know, they might be going to some sort of thing, and it's overnight or something, and they go out after work and they get totally wankered because everyone's drinking. I'm like, I say to Jen, she's going to kill me for saying this, but I say
You're going to say it anyway, aren't you?
But I say it anyway. But she might go to like a work thing, and you feel like she has to get totally blattered, and then she'll moan the next day that she's not feeling well, she's hanging, and I'm worried about her because she's got to drive back the next day from where she's been. Yeah. And then she thinks I'm moaning, but I'm more concerned the fact that how she is,
So my day job is like a mortgage underwriter for a bank. And one of the things that I constantly have in one-to-ones for my job role is, you need to be visual in the business. So I'm like, what does that mean?
Social.
So I'm like, visually doing my job well then. And they're like, no, your attendance, or should I say non-attendance at social gatherings after hours has been noted by senior management. I'm like, what impact does that have on my job?
So, because I don't want to get pissed.
I work my contracted hours, and I do it to the best of my ability. I work through lunches, I come in early, I work early. But because I don't want to stay behind and drink the free alcohol and pizza on offer in the office, I'm now all of a sudden not a good employee.
Yeah, Jen said that to me.
So it's a bad work. It's a bad ethos to have.
I had it out of my manager. I said, well, if that's how the company values my performance, then I'll go somewhere that actually values my work. And since then, I've not heard a word about it.
I don't understand that.
It's that pressure. If you're young, if you're 22 and you're trying to be healthy, or in your early 20s, first corporate job in the world, and you go into a bank and they're like, if you're not getting pissed up, you're not part of the team.
You feel kind of pressured.
You'd feel no. I'm 32. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's show me in my contract where it says I'm obliged to get drunk on a social event.
Because that is the complete opposite of most contracts. You should not be drinking.
But it's the old school banker mentality, and I'm like, well, I'm not an old school banker. I'm 32.
Yeah, and a lot of old school bankers have a lot of mental health issues and addiction because
and all unhealthy, die in their 50s and 60s through stress and alcohol and bad food choices, drugs.
It's in London.
It's rife.
The financial sector is known for drink and cocaine. Cocaine ran the stock market for a very long time because it kept people going.
When I used to play rugby, I was a recruiter. Now imagine that lifestyle.
Recruitment, stock market, anything like that. Like literally, I've been in jobs where I've sat in the city and after getting clean, I've sat there with my boss and I go, there's people on gear. He went, who? Well, I'm not going to tell you because
I'm not a snitch.
I'm not a snitch. But I said, he goes, nah, it don't happen in my office. I said, you're either naive or fucking stupid. I said, with all due respect, you're an idiot if you think there's no drugs. I said, there's people that do it in the office while they're at their desk. Yeah. So
on a Tuesday morning.
So the fact that you think they're not doing it in a toilet in a bar, you're a dick. And I can spot it from I can point out. If I'm in a bar, I can point out gearheads.
Oh, absolutely, because you know the signs.
I know the signs. I've lived it. I've lived it. Not only do I know the signs, I know how to hide the signs. And I think that life, I think, if you're in a culture, a work culture where it's seen to be okay to get lashed up after work, and you're kind of judged on that. How's your mental health ever going to kind of cope? How are you going to cope?
It's an awful thing, and I feel so. It's hard because mental health is something that's very personal to me. Like I'm very a massive advocate of it. So I lost my dad when I was 5 years old. He committed suicide. So I've always grown up with that. Like, am I wired the same way? So when I was going through that transformation, and it was the alcohol and all of the comfort eating, there's always been that chip on my shoulder. Like, is there something wrong with me? It put me off having kids when I was younger because I don't want to carry that gene on. Lots of things like that. And no one knows that you're going through that in your head. And again, the way that I dealt with that was, I'm going to see my mates and go and get pissed every weekend.
Because I can forget about it.
Because then I'm not thinking about it when I'm having a good time. But then when you're sitting there Sunday morning at 10 o'clock and you've got a stinking hangover.
And you're depressed and you're paranoid.
And then you're like, is this the route that I'm going down? This feels like a very similar route that I've seen happen before. And it's the same when I'm in the office. I see a lot of young lads and there's, and women as well, obviously, but young lads that they don't know what's the right thing to do anymore because they do one thing and they're going to get in trouble. They do the other thing, they're going to get in trouble. And I just look at them and I'm like, just morally do what's right for you. Yeah. Whatever that means.
If it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
If it's not what you feel is right, then don't do it. Whatever that means. Now, if you think it's it's the best thing to do in the world, go and get drunk and you love it and that's your life and you enjoy it and you can do it and there's no repercussions, fair play, mate. Go and enjoy it. Yeah. But if you are struggling at any point, have a look at yourself and don't do it because it's the social norm. Because ultimately it will destroy your mental health. And this is when I started the transformation. I just got to a point where I'm like, the way it all started was our best friends were getting married. And it got cancelled, but it was the time in between the first and the second bubble when everyone could go out and see everyone. So obviously everyone's having parties, but their venue was only allowed, I think, 20 people or something. So they pushed it back a year when hopefully we could have more, and they did, and it was an amazing wedding, so they made the right decision. But we had a party, and we were absolutely smashed. I was off my face, I couldn't remember anything of the night, and we were laying in bed the next day, me and my other half, and the pictures were circulating of the night before, and I look like I'm having the best time, and I'm looking at it like, God, that geezer is so unhappy. Yeah. Genuinely, if I could tell you how that looks is not how that person feels, because it was me. And I was like, is that what I look like now? And I was like, yes, And obviously COVID, everyone had the long hair, the long beard, because you couldn't get an haircut, because obviously the barbers were all shut. So that didn't make me look great anyway, because I'm receding and thinning. So I looked absolutely awful. But it was the belly was just out here. And I was like, wow. Done some damage here. First lockdown, it was a beautiful summer, so all you're doing is drinking in the afternoon and the evenings, working from home. My work was mental busy, so it was stress and coping with it, and couldn't travel, couldn't spend your money, so it's well, fuck it, I'll get drunk then. And that's it, the mental side. I looked at that picture and went, that is one happy geezer.
Was that your turning point?
That was it. That was when I turned to him and went, I'm done. I'm done. Like, no way. And to be fair, there's been a few fake dawns where I've been like, I'm done, not doing it. Like, after a heavy night, I'm never drinking
when you
again.
hang over, yeah.
Yeah.
one of
And
those.
like,
Never
so
drinking again.
Gemma heard it a few times. So, yeah, she's always like believed in me. She'd always push me.
She was sceptical.
Yeah, and rightly so. Like, even like my best mate Kieran, I said it to him, and he was just like, "All right, mate. Well, I'll help you." But
I'll see you Saturday for a beer, yeah?
the tone was like, "All right, mate. We'll see." And then like the next week, and they're like, "Yeah, you do it for the first week, but you'll crumble by
Do
2,
you
3
know what?
weeks
When
in."
people say that to me, I'm like, right, I can show you.
Well, that's it.
That's my, for me, that's my kind of, like, when was it? Last January, I just decided, like, I saw pictures of myself and I went, nah, no, I'm done. Like you did, I'm done. And I started going to the gym, started going, like, properly, not just like 2 days here, I'm going to have a couple of days off. And I had mates that went, yeah, all right, I had all this before, I'd like to see you do it. Like, you ain't going to last. And that's, for me, I'm like, yeah, like, with an ice bath now.
With no ice in it.
Yeah. So I got an ice bath and we got people going, oh, it's just got hot water in it. Then my missus, like, she's felt the water.
Doesn't that just say everything about society, though?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
not
I'm
just
doing
well
something
done,
to better
mate.
myself.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, well, you're obviously cheating.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Just because that's what you would do. Like, don't put it on me. Like,
yeah,
fine.
this is a reflection.
And if I am cheating, why'd you care?
Yeah, why'd you care? I've got a hot tub now. Like, it's not it's not an ice bath, it's a hot tub. Who cares? But like, my missus, like, she put her hand in the ice bath and nah, with all due respect, I ain't getting it. She goes, you won't see out a week. Like,
Fair
do you know
enough.
what? I wasn't going to see out a week, but now I'm going to do it now for the next 10 years, every day, just to prove you wrong.
Absolutely. And I'm, do you know what? I'm exactly the same. That when I said, like, because that's the reason why I did the bodybuilding show. Because I was like,
Because people said you wouldn't.
and they were like, and then it's like, it was booked, and I'm like, all right, so you've booked it. Okay.
Anyone can book it.
Anyone can book it. And I was like, carrying on. Then it's like losing weight, and people looking at me going, yeah,
It's
it's
like
still.
applying for a marathon, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
Anyone's
like,
going to do that.
yeah, you're not gonna make it though. You won't get there. You won't lose the weight. You won't. And like, every
You
week,
fucking watch.
all I'm getting is confidence from the momentum. I'm like, I'm fucking doing something here. This is magic. Like, I'm loving it, and I'm supporting the right people around me, pushing me the right way. And the haters are still going on. Well, are you doing this? Or are you doing that? Then the first little,
Are they those same haters that aren't changing themselves, aren't bettering themselves, and sitting on their arse doing
they
nothing?
are, and they're also now the same haters that ask me for advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
And do you know what? Like, and I'm quite again, like, I've learned through experiences in my life not to be bitter about things. So I help them, because the biggest fuck you now is that I'm giving you advice.
Yeah.
Now, if I genuinely want to help people, so I'm happy to give the advice, and I don't throw it in their face, because again, that doesn't make anyone feel any better, and they might be trying to do something, and I don't want to be the person bringing them down. But at the same time, it's like, can I just show you a message you sent me 3 years ago where you
The
called
tables.
me a fat shit and I wouldn't do it?
Yeah.
And now you're the one asking for my advice. To me, that's just like, that's my vindication.
Yeah.
But you can't just have that as your only fuel, because if you do that, you'll wear it very quickly.
I had a good saying, and it was Tom Skinner that said it. He said, never accept criticism from someone that you'd never take advice from.
I use that a lot.
And it's true, like, because I think, especially on social media as well, we always, no one ever go, if you had 10 comments and you look really good, you're going to look at that one comment that says, you're still fat, you still ain't cut, you're still not big. Because I don't know if it's a British thing, we just like to focus on the crap.
On the negative.
We're all like, oh, like do better and shoot, like, stiff upper lip and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we like that, but we also like to.
That's our insecurities though, because even now, like, people will be like, "Oh, you have like a good physique, or you look great at your last show, or oh, I'm really happy, like you're impressing me," and all this stuff, and it's all lovely to hear. And I don't let it go too much either. Like, even when people are blowing smoke,
a little bit.
it's nice. Obviously, I have an ego. Like, I never hide that. It's, you know,
You've got to though, haven't you?
I'm in an industry where it's full of ego.
Well,
so you've got to have a bit
You
about
stand on
it,
the
huh?
stage in the set of speedos, like you can't exactly be saying I haven't got an ego. You're flexing your muscles in tight little spandex.
In fake town, looking like the woman out of Benidorm.
Yeah, exactly. You can't say no, I haven't got an ego. Because if you did, you're a
I'd be
bullshitter.
lying, yeah. But even with that, it strokes the ego, which is lovely. But yeah, you're right. Like, again, it's just and it's always the fake profile with the no picture and
No
no
followers.
posts and the no, and they, and it'll just be like, I had one the other day. You'll always be a fat boy, and And I'm like, you're absolutely right. I will be. I always mentally, I'm always a fat kid. Don't worry about that.
You see why I'm for biscuits. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, even me though. I was like,
genes.
oh, had you got the white cookie ones? Yeah, I'll have some of them.
That's in the genes. That's
You can make the feeder over it.
Exactly. Exacerbating our inhibitions, but it's. Yeah,
I've got to catch up with you somehow. If I keep feeding you biscuits,
well, yeah, it's off season at the moment, but
bulking season.
Bulking season. But it's that negative comment will be the one.
Yeah.
And it used to really get to me. Like it'd really like anger me, piss me off. And I would use it as the old chip on the shoulder, I'll prove you wrong, I'll show you something. But now I just go, do you know what? I feel really sorry for you, mate. Like to take the time out of your day to set up an account, to hide behind it, to then come and comment on my story or comment on my post and put something abusive. Like I'm actually really worried about you now because I don't need to put that hate out there.
Someone, there was something that said, like, if anyone ever insults you, never get angry. Just turn around and say, just ask them, "Are you okay?" And it completely flips everything because no one knows how to respond to that because they're just used to just being.
And that also comes with the confidence of knowing who you're in a circle is. Now, if someone that I deeply care about, their opinion, says something like that, then that's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
So,
it's a different conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But if it's a randomer or some like an acquaintance, or again, even better when someone's fake profile online. Oh, mate, sorry you feel that way, but
I don't know if you remember. Obviously, going back to what you were just saying. Obviously, first they laugh at you, then they ask you how that type of thing. But I don't know if you remember. Obviously, when I was competing, and I had a bit of someone who was on the stage with me at the same time. He was messaging me or stuff. Remember?
And I was telling you about what to say.
And you sent me a nice voice note, and you just said, just ignore it and just don't look at who you're up against. You used to basically saying just come off it until you've done your show because it just fucked with your head.
Yeah. It's such a toxic thing. Like any bodybuilder that gets on stage and there's I think anyone that's in the gym to better themselves to some level has got some form of eating disorder, body dysmorphia. And whether anyone wants to admit it or not, like you were always either the skinny kid in school that everyone like
you were either the skinny one or the fat one.
Or the fat one to a degree. You have people that just were always kind of a constant and you get that in life. But most people started going to gym or exercise to better themselves one way or another. And even people that look great all the time, mentally, it's just like their clarity, mind of thought. So yeah, when you were doing your show and like I'd had experience of doing it and people trying to pull me down. So, and I remember how I felt in that moment. So I was like, Matt, just look where you started, mate. Yeah. Like you getting up there is such a win, regardless of any result or medal that you could do. That's how I looked at my first show. It's like, I don't care if I come bottom last. All I didn't want to do was get laughed at on stage.
Yeah, but you're beating all the people that didn't even attempt to do it.
And that's the thing. But it's sign of transformation and the length of it as well. Like you getting up there, like I was so happy to see you up there doing your thing. I remember you and Rick doing the posing room, and it to me was just like, that's what I love about this place, this gym, this sport, this industry. This is the bit that's beauty.
You see people like Matt when you first went in the gym, like you're a big boy, and you see big people go in the gym, and you can notice people they're all tittering away like laughing, and you think, but that fat person that's walking on the treadmill at tiny little pace is lapping the people that are still sitting on their ass on the sofa. Like, they're doing something about it. Yeah, okay, they might not look like an Adonis, but that big step, like you've always said, the biggest step for you was walking through that door and signing up to Rick, not getting on a treadmill or doing an exercise. Literally,
it's
that psychological. And Hayley, she shared that thing, like when you do a show.
Oh, the post-show blues.
Yeah, well, no, you do a show. You're only on stage for up to 15 minutes. The rest of the year, it's on you.
It's in the background.
Yeah, it's in the background. So really, like, don't worry about what other
people that follow me on Instagram will say that I'm showing you everything I always do. But again, there's always still that part of me that's like, yeah, I do all the work in the background, and people don't really know what I'm doing. I let people see.
This is something. See what you need them to see.
This is something that Steve, my coach, taught me very well. He was like, I will only show you a certain part. Everything else I'm doing is quiet and it's in the background. And when he taught me that lesson, I was like, that's phenomenal. So now I only show people what I want them to see. Like, I get it quite a lot about, you don't really post a lot about you and your missus. And I'm like, I don't need to. Like, we're secure. Like, we're good. Like, the couples that I know that are always like, I love him. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. They're the ones that usually have got quite a lot of insecurities and issues going on.
Obviously, we all do that. Like every so often,
anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas. Of course you do, because it's a time when you're reflecting on what you have in your life, which we need to do more of as a society.
I've seen friends. They're like, it's great if you're in a loving relationship, cool, but it's starting to become very sickening. Like when I'm like people that are expecting babies, like I'm so proud of her. Okay, you're proud of her, cool. Like that's cool, but you don't have to be proud of her every day of every week of every month, because tell her that. Don't tell the world, just tell her. And like my personal Instagram, like I have a lot, obviously, because there's a crossover between the campaign and I post stuff with me. You get lots of people that will try and add me, and it's private, and I'll decline it, and they'll message, "Why didn't you accept?" Because
it's my personal.
This is my personal life. It's got my kids on it. It's my life.
That's mine to share what I want to show
with the people. Like, and they go, "Well, why don't you?" I only accept people that I know, that I've met, and that okay, my following and my stuff on there. Obviously, on my personal, I follow celebrities and football teams, but my followers. The people that follow me that I've accepted are
limited.
I know them. I've met them at least once, and I have something in common with them. And I think, like you say, it comes back to that kind of, you don't need to put everything on social media. And unfortunately, the only things people do put on social media are the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you never see, like, very rarely that it is nice to see some people doing it. Then they're just chastised for attention seeking.
You're being negative.
You're being negative, or you're attention. Like I've seen people that put their biggest emotion on. We said before, there's some people that are so lonely that their social media is their person they can talk to, or their support network. Like there are a lot of people that have got a community. I'm lucky that my campaign's got a little community that help each other out in all the comments or all the posts. And some people will post that they're crying and they're saying, I'm really struggling. And you get all the dickhead trolls that are going, well, you're just doing it for attention. Why can't you go and tell someone? You don't need to put it on social media.
I'll never understand people like that. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's the way I was brought up. Maybe, and I think
if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
But it's also, again, I'm at a point in my life where I'm very selective over who I give my energy and time to. And anyone that has that kind of opinion, I just don't want to know you.
Because you've spent years of your life giving it to people that don't deserve it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now I'm very selective, and people kind of think I'm a bit callous and a bit cold. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just not entertaining your bullshit. That's not me. Like people, it's a funny story. People will say Mike's either the nicest bloke you've ever met or he's the biggest arsehole. And both are correct.
Do you know what? When I first saw you in the gym, I was like, I don't really want to approach him. He looks like a miserable twat that. And I was like, and even when we first spoke the first couple of times, I was like, I don't know how I can take him. Does he hate me? Or probably does, because I don't shut up. But like you're one of those ones that.
When was you talking to? Like 2 weeks out from a show? And you were like,
probably. You were on a. No, I know you were, because you were on a step up.
Oh right.
You were on the stairs.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to talk to anyone when I'm
no, exactly. But it's that kind of thing. Like I think we've all been around it. Well, because we've got addictions. Like we'll always be addicts. We just don't take those things.
Yeah.
And we were always surrounded by the people that let us do it, where they were enablers.
Yeah.
And when you push those people away and their negativity, you actually find you don't need to.
I hear it all the time. They're like, when I first saw you, I thought you were going to be like a really aggressive, passive-aggressive,
miserable twat,
miserable arsehole. And I'm like, that's just my face. I can't do nothing about that.
Resting bitch face.
Sorry about that.
I've seen you a couple of weeks out from the show, and I was going to come see. I remember
this story.
But you scared him.
Sorry, it was like this. I walked into the gym like this.
I saw the mini turn up, and then I saw you in the car park, and then I just saw. Normally they walk in together, but he just walked in steaming ahead, and then his hood up, and I just bolted straight through the thing, and I was like, I'll give it a miss. I was meant to
You know what? I remember that so vividly, I actually felt really bad because I walked in. I didn't have the ump over anything. I think I was just tired and hungry and all that stuff.
And it was
never excuses me being an arsehole. But I remember you approaching the turnstile, Rick, and you just walked up and you saw my face and you just went, nope. It was like this like veto, and I just remember walking in and I just got it done. I think I came up to you at the end and I'm really sorry if I looked like an absolute, like I was going to chew your head off. I really wasn't.
But I might have done, so that's what I'm talking to you at the end.
No. There's certain people that I just would never
talk to.
No, clearly. No, there's certain, like, this is one thing about bodybuilding as well. I can't stand people that use prep as an excuse to be an arsehole. oh, I'm on prep, that's why I'm an arsehole. No.
No, you're an arsehole because you're an arsehole.
You're an arsehole and you're just doing that because you want to be. You're just trying to use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, one thing me and Gemma are very clear on, and she supports me amazingly within my bodybuilding, but one thing I've took on as like this must never happen, is to be an arsehole to her. I've only broke that rule once when we were in Birmingham.
I bet she let you know, though.
To be fair, I already knew it. She didn't have to, and I honestly...
Oh, you got the look.
It wasn't even that. We were in Birmingham doing the Arnolds, and it was I don't know if you've ever been to Birmingham. It's a one-way system.
Yeah, everything's one way.
And if you miss a turn in, you're fucked.
Well, you've got another at least an hour before you've got to come back. Yeah.
So I've got a weigh-in to get to in this hotel, and it was like checking a weigh-in. And for me, I'm always at the right top end of a category. So I'm like a few pounds from making weight, bad or good.
So if I have another couple of sips of drinks...
So I've not drank no water, nothing. So I'm like sitting in the car and like I'm trying to navigate my missus around a place we've never both been before.
You're hungry.
I'm absolutely starving. I'm concerned if I'm going to make weight. Like, I've done everything right, but it's still like that, just nerves of making it. The Arnold's is fucking massive. So it's the biggest show. I'm in Birmingham, don't know where I am. So I've got all these pressures on. She misses the first turning on the way, and in Gemma's defence, the turning was like point blank. Like, you either know it or you don't, and if you don't know it, you miss it.
It was a locals turn.
Yeah. So we've missed it. So anyway, I've kept calm. We're going round again. So I'm like, we leave with plenty of time because I hate being late for anything. So we go around again. We do it a second time. It's the turning the second time. Now I'm not okay. So we pull back up the third time.
Just stop. I'll walk.
Well, that was it. And I just went, just park the fucking car. And like Jem just didn't even move. She just literally pulled in somewhere. Didn't even look at the mirrors. Nothing. Like, how we didn't have a crash. Pulled in, put the car down, and I just was like, I am the biggest arsehole on this planet right now. And I remember walking in, it was the first Arnold's. I was so excited for the whole prep to be doing it, biggest show in the UK ever. I'm going to be there, all this stuff. And I remember checking in, and I just didn't want to be there because I was just like, I'm an arsehole. My missus is crying in the car because I've shouted at her because she missed a turn in that she didn't know was there 3 times.
Yeah, because she's never been here before.
And it's like, but you don't rationalise it that way. And I got back in the car, and we didn't even talk about bodybuilding. I just thought, I am so sorry. I must have said it about 4 times. To be fair to her, she has got a lot for it since. You've
made up for it.
I've made up for it pretty well since. But it's the only time. But that was like the one and only. And I felt terrible about myself. So when people in a gym, I'm going to be a fucking arsehole to everyone because I'm on prep. And even people that aren't on prep, they're just bodybuilders and they think they're not. I'm like, mate, get out your arse. You choose this life. No one is forcing you not to eat food. No one is forcing. If you're doing it, fine. But it doesn't mean that person who's been in the gym twice doesn't get to use that machine because you've got a show in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wait your fucking turn.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about Ripped as a gym. Drop your fucking ego out the door. Don't bring it in here. Everyone, if you pay your membership, everyone is entitled to the same thing in an order.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. And do you know what? Like, I've worked out many...
Apart from me, because apparently I'm a miserable arsehole.
You are a miserable arsehole until you're begging to be filmed. And then it's all fine. Then
all I wanted was a celebrity football match.
But, like, I think, like, Ripped is the first gym I've been to that it completely kind of changes the culture of bodybuilding. Like, and it's not a paid advert, don't worry. Like, I'm not getting paid for this. It's literally...
Alpha and Crystal, thank you for it.
Yeah.
It's not a paid advert.
I literally got it tattooed on his arm. Look.
But, like, I've been in many gyms where, like, the usual, like, they're just meatheads, they're just roidheads and all this sort of stuff. And, like, unfortunately, like, not unfortunately. In gyms, there is steroids, there is this, there is that. But in Ripped, it just seemed like just the atmosphere is different. Like
management won't have it, and I obviously work behind the counter and stuff, and
it's just
it's a clear message from the owners. We don't accept it from anyone, whether you've been here since we've opened our door, or it's your first day in here. No one is bigger than the gym.
No.
Everyone here gets treated with respect. The equipment gets treated with respect. Everything,
and the atmosphere is good. Everyone's happy. Like, we'll all have a laugh, but we can. Yeah, it is good, and I think bodybuilding or any sort of gym is good for your mental health.
Cool. Right. So, just want to say thanks for coming on.
No,
today.
pleasure.
Really
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on.
We'll have to do more of these. It's honestly, it's like just great to chat.
Just
Good therapy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do you know what it is? Exactly that. I feel like I've got a bit of weight off my chest today. I feel like, I've talked through a few things. So, no, thank you. And honestly, keep doing what you're doing because it's inspirational for a lot of people. And I say this now, there's things that you've posted and stuff that I've watched and liked and reshared. And sometimes you're having a bit of a crap day and you just think, like, actually, I'm really lucky. And it makes you just have a bit more perspective on life. So,
Do you want to drop your Instagram handle as well, just in case
if I
anyone's
can remember
looking for a bit of coaching?
crisp_coaching is my Instagram, but we're part of Ian Coaching. But yeah, that's what I'm here for, to help people like me, people like you that need the big transformations, want to change their lives and get better habits. That's what I'm trying to achieve. So
Excellent.
thank you. Thank you
Cheers for coming on.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.